has been developed by the International Association for Clear Thinking, IACT. The purpose of IACT is to provide an easy-to-understand learning system to help individuals manage emotional stress. The Clear Thinking program relies on research and findings from well-known, recognized experts, utilizing methods of personal analysis and personal stress management. There is no cost for the IACT program. All financial support for IACT and this website is provided by donations from participants. If you find this program and information helpful, please consider helping others by forwarding this information to them and supporting IACT with your donation. To get the most out of the Clear Thinking program, you'll want to take notes and write down important concepts. Have paper and pen handy before you continue. Please read this important notice to continue. In the ABC program Step 1, you learned the three parts of the emotional equation. You learned that there is a triggering event, plus evaluating self-talk, which results in feelings. And you learned how these relate to each other in the emotional process. Now you will be learning about the second part of the process, self-talk. What is self-talk? Where does it come from? How can I identify and manage it? How does it affect emotions? How does it cause stress? Self-talk is the evaluating process that takes place almost instantly in response to events that surround you. This is a critical piece of the emotional equation, for it is at this point that you take control and manage the emotional process. It is this evaluating process that triggers feelings and emotions. And it is at this point that negative thoughts and responses can take over, resulting in frustration, anger, fear, and stress. Over the years, you have built a library of negative self-talk responses that can create stress in your life. It is this negative self-talk that will be the target of relearning and re-education in this program step. In the same manner that you have learned these habits and behaviors, they can be relearned to produce new positive results. So it is important to find, recognize, and understand patterns of negative self-talk. Clues for negative self-talk may include words like always, never, what if, should, could, must, others, can't, and try. Let's take a closer look. First of all, self-talk is a learned, immediate response that becomes automatic, like an autopilot on an airplane. You have learned a catalog of responses that you call on to become automatic parts of your daily evaluations. You see, feel, touch, hear, and respond with these instantaneous self-talk evaluations. Most importantly, these are learned responses and they are pre-programmed. This means simple relearning and reprogramming can produce different and more desirable results. The brain operates like a computer. It processes and stores information you put into it. From our first conscious moments, we have experienced thousands and thousands of events. This information is filed and retained in the brain. Information is filed whether exaggerated or accurate about what we experience with our five senses. The brain's function is to process information, not evaluate the information you deliver to it. The brain or computer does not correct inaccurate information. It's up to you, in any case, to correct any misinformation. When we change our self-talk, we change our automatic responses to current and past events. You manage and control this part of the emotional process, and it's up to you to make changes. The foundation for improving, minimizing, and eliminating stress begins with this process of relearning and reeducation. So it is important to find, recognize, and understand your patterns of negative self-talk. My negative emotional feelings will cue me and tip me off to my use of negative talk like always, never, what if, should, could, must, others, they, it can't, disagree, blame, reject, withdraw, and try. My negative emotional feelings remind me to examine what I'm telling myself. Negative self-talk is a leading cause for stress and unhappiness in our lives and can often be resolved with practice and relearning. You have the key to unlock the door to new thinking. It is a very simple, repetitive process. Target these routine, unhealthy, and negative learned self-talk which is embedded and automatic. Start today to change and replace them with new positive self-talk. Start improving your confidence, health, and well-being. Negative self-talk words. Always. Never. What if? Should. Must. Always. My brain will interpret this as 100%, just as the word literally means. For instance, when I say you always forget my birthday, I would be more upset than if I said you did not remember my birthday this year. Unless I change my self-talk, I will become angry instead of disappointed. Never. Again, my brain thinks this is 100%. So when I say, you never take out the garbage, I react as if that is a truth. The brain doesn't know the difference. My brain will only process what I tell it, and I will react accordingly. Say instead, take out the garbage. I will reduce the anger toward the person who hasn't taken out the garbage. What if? When I say this, my brain will search the unknown for the answer to the what if. For instance, what if I fall on my face while walking down the aisle? I answer, so what? People have fallen or tripped before, I'll just get up and go on. What if statements create anxiety. Answer your what if and explain to yourself what is the worst thing that could happen and the probability. Should. When I direct a should toward he, she, they, or it, I am demanding they do what I want, just because I want it to be my way. When I make these demands, my anger increases over the event. This will build up unless I decrease the intensity by changing my self-talk. I cannot control the behavior of others, only my own. Should, directed at myself. When I put the demands of a should on myself, such as, I should have known better, I shouldn't be like this, or I should be able to handle this, I place 100% demand on myself to be different than I am or to have skills I don't have. I can say instead, I want to act different. I will practice what I want to do and how I want to behave. Must. When I tell myself I have to do this or I must do that, I put a strong demand on myself and feel as if I have no options. By saying this, I create a high degree of anxiety for myself as I think about beginning the task. Anytime I have to say I have to or I must, I need to change this to I want to. This is more realistic as I can view the task with options that are available. Likely, these negative self talk words are a familiar old pattern, along with many others. Learn to recognize this negative self talk and take steps to reshape it to achieve positive results. So, what are the steps, and how do you manage negative self talk? Since these responses have become habitual and automatic, you will need to take relearning steps. Start identifying and understanding self talk and your automatic responses. Your uncomfortable negative feeling is a cue. This will take practice because they are prominent and automatic. Here are several tools that will be helpful to modify and relearn this thinking. To begin, learn to interrupt this automatic thought process. When you recognize these negative thinking patterns, develop strategies to immediately confront this thinking. There are many ways you can stop and interrupt this process with both mental and physical tools. Here are some tools that will be helpful to modify and relearn this thinking. Try these tools until you find one that works for you. Take a deep breath. Count to 10. Snap your fingers. Talk out loud and coach yourself. Snap a wristband. Ask yourself, is there an alternative, more appropriate self-talk? Take time to write down some of these events and thoughts. Focus on the ABCs part and the self-talk. Practice replacing negative self-talk with positive self-talk. The purpose of interruption is to stop upsetting yourself and allow you to reevaluate circumstances. This is an essential step since we often trap ourselves in a downward spiral of negative thinking, making things worse and worse and worse. With negative thinking interrupted, what next? It is time to begin a relearning process. This will allow you to recognize, practice, and create new results. A process that will replace the programmed automated response with new automation. This will take some time and some practice, but it is a simple matter of repetition and persistence. With relearning, you will develop new self-talk that replaces negative with positive. Practice, practice, practice. Here are some examples of self-talk relearning. Old thinking. I can't do anything right. New thinking. I do many things right. I will improve with practice. Old thinking. I don't have time. New thinking. Whenever I do this, it will take the same amount of time. I have the same time as everyone else. They always pick on me. Literally, they are not picking on me. They are just doing things I don't like. I will just quit. Finishing will make me feel better, as this is accomplishing my goal. As you work through self-talk, make friends with yourself and become your best friend. Coach yourself and practice replacing negative self-talk with positive. Learn to be happy and confident. I finished early. I did a great job. I'm proud of the completed project. Others do not make you happy. Happiness is your job. As you refine your learning skills, you will find yourself gradually managing your emotions and the stress in your life. A key ingredient in the self-talk process is objectivity. It is imperative to carefully examine events and outcomes. To evaluate events, view the actual event occurrence as if it were photographed with a camera or recorded with a digital recorder. Often events are personalized or overstated in self-talk. Don't exaggerate. Do your best to replay the circumstances to view and understand the originating event. There will be more on this concept of objective reality covered later in this program. This self-talk program has provided a basis for you to start an analysis of your responses that cause stress in your life. Take time to write your ABCs and analyze your self-talk experiences before you proceed with the next program step. Most importantly, in this program step, you have learned that you manage and control self-talk. With modifications and changes, you can reduce and minimize stress in your life. Finally, you have learned that self-talk is automatic. With practice, self-talk can be relearned to produce new responses. You control self-talk and your responses. Negative self-talk creates stress. With new clear thinking, you can relearn existing self-talk and learn to recognize behavior and responses and relearn new, improved, healthy results. This concludes the program Step 2, Self-Talk. Please note that this program is Step 2 of a 6-step program. Follow the program steps and sequence for greatest benefit. All program steps are available on the IACT website, www.iactforyou.org. If you find this program helpful and beneficial, please forward this to a friend and please consider a donation to help IACT help others.